What's up, everybody? Fellow brothers of the Leaf, sisters of the Leaf. We're doing a little nub today because we want to talk about UFC 257. We're so excited. We got our hats on backwards.
Yeah. Check this out. If you follow me on any platform, I had to delete one of my things. I kind of got a little too drunk and a little too happy and said the F-bomb about like 7,000 times.
Oh yeah, you said that to me. He said it to me.
Because I deleted it. But when somebody you're so passionate about wins like that and you knew and could have predicted it like I did on the episode, I knew that was going to happen.
You have to realize, everybody, that like I've known Dustin. Oh my God! Like I remember when I met him. I met him at a little sports bar off of Jefferson, and he had just come to the UFC. He was still fighting at 145. I remember when he came over from WEC. He was supposed to be a throwaway because Josh Grisby was the new contender. He was supposed to fight Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo got hurt. Grisby needed an opponent, so they brought Dustin over from WC, and he was supposed to be like a sacrificial lamb to basically put Grisby over.
Yep.
It didn't work out that way. He tuned Grisby up for 3 full rounds. At the end of that fight, Grisby's walking back to his corner. His face is covered in blood, and he's laughing, going like, "Dude, I got messed up."
Yeah.
And then that was the beginning. So when I met Dustin, he was this kid, but he just well-mannered, passionate. He has a documentary, Fightville. So like we've been rooting for this guy for a long, long time, and to see him get this, I mean, this is apex. He's got the top of the mountain.
I always said he was at the wrong weight because it takes so much toll. As a wrestler, like growing up my whole life, I was a wrestler. I know what it does to you. It drains you. So when you, like, if you do tournaments or whatever, you weigh in that day and then you wrestle like 4 or 5 times. And then if you get into the brackets, then you're in there and you're wrestling all day long. Well, if you have to cut that much weight, which he was to get down to 45, it just drains you. So yeah, your body's not where it should be. 155 is
It's perfect for him. Well, also, he had to grow into his body because he was very, very young. But now that he's getting bigger, it's natural. But another thing most people don't realize is that when you cut weight, you're not just cutting weight in your muscles, your water weight. You're not burning fat. What you're doing is you're depleting your body everywhere that needs moisture, and that includes you have a protective membrane around your brain called a phospholipid layer.
Yep.
And when you cut too much weight, it depletes that. Well, that thing basically serves as a shock absorber to your brain, which is why you see so many prominent fighters go down a weight class and all of a sudden they have no chin.
Yeah.
You know, Randy Couture, dominant heavyweight, he take a pounding, goes down to light heavyweight, and Chuck Liddell sneezes and he goes unconscious. You know, that's what happened. He goes back up to heavyweight. Now he can take a punch again. But Tim Sylvia, you know, everything was fine. That happens. So I think we saw Dustin took a shot 6 years ago, 145, put him out. Takes Conor's best shot, and he's okay. So
yeah, he didn't even blink.
So first off, big shout out to Dustin. Congratulations. We're so proud of you. Also, kudos to Michael Chandler for having a successful debut. But the reason why I wanted to do this is that you've been watching the post-fight talk.
Yes.
And what is everybody saying needs to happen?
So I think a lot of people.
What do they say? Tell me what they say.
Well, everyone's believing that he's the champ.
There's that.
And they want him to go with Chandler, and he doesn't want to take Chandler. He doesn't want to take that because he's like, dude, the guy, he had one fight here. I've been kicking
exactly.
his butt.
The other thing is they're Conor wants a trilogy, and they're saying make that for the belt. And so what I wanted to do was take a look. We've been watching MMA a long time, and I want people to hear the other side of the situation because yes, you know, clearly Conor's the biggest name in the history of the sport. So anytime you have a chance to use him, then you do that. But I think you have to consider more variables than that when you make your matches because you have to think about the long run. It's not about making money now. It's about total money earned in the long run, which means you got to think like an integral. The area under the curve. How much money can you make? And while it's true, you can get a big payday putting him against Conor now. What do you do if Conor loses? How do you parlay that into another fight?
His career's over.
He's 3 and 3 of his last 6 fights. 3 and 3.
Yeah, he's
1 and 2 of his last 3 fights, and the only one was against Donald Trump.
Yeah. So it's not like he could come back from this, and I do believe that he's done. He's done for a while at least.
And the other thing they're saying is they want to put Dustin against Michael Chandler because they're paying Michael Chandler $250,000 for that fight.
But I do believe that I'm kind of with Dustin on this. Let him go and fight one more person before he takes on the fight.
So what I want to do is go over the rankings. And specifically paying attention to the fighters that are in title contention. You know, your top 5 guys. Hooker, we don't even know if he's still fighting because the way he left his gloves in the ring, there's a lot of talk that he retired because that was such a crippling loss. So
yeah,
we have everybody calls number 1 the Eagle, Khabib, but you know he's off the table.
Dude, he retired. What do you want to say? The guy retired.
So then we have. This can't even be right. They're saying this is ESPN, so you're wrong.
So
they're saying Tony Ferguson number 2
got destroyed by
this is Gagey. There's
Max
Dustin
Holloway twice.
Well, Max Holloway back at 45, so he's not even in there. Then you got Charles Oliveira.
Yep. That could be a fight. That could be a fight.
And then you got Chandler. So think about it, not just about money right now, but it's what's best for the division. Who's earned it in the division? Okay.
Dustin.
Obviously, Dustin and Charles have the best runs going on right now. So I would say, as far as just the division goes, that's the best.
Yep.
I'm also a huge fan of Charles Oliveira because I love his approach to fighting. His grappling is very aggressive. His punching is very aggressive, and he goes after submissions like, you know, let's just say there's a reason why he's at the record for most submissions in UFC history.
Yep.
That's insane. Okay. But you also have to think about like what will get the crowd most electrified, most jacked up, and I don't think there's any question that Oliveira and Poirier.
Well, right now, it's all about selling pay-per-views.
It's about selling pay-per-views. That's right.
You can't fill arena. You can't do that right now.
So I think that we need to have a trilogy with Dustin and Conor, but if you look at it from a handicapping perspective, Conor needs to get some more heat under, because like if he gets 2 solid wins under his belt and then comes back, then he can handle a loss if that happens, you know. But you gotta think like pro wrestling. You gotta give him a little bit of a push. He's got to get some tune-up.
Well, they're saying he's already getting back in the gym. Like he's already been training. So
yes, I heard that. I saw the interview with Kavanaugh. That he said that he was already training. And then you've got Chandler. Everybody says, you know, well, hey, he was former champ, but like if you look actually at his record, he's 10-5 his last 15 fights. And the losses are against, I would say, UFC caliber fighters. The wins, not so much. He doesn't have a stellar resume of guys that he's put away. It's clear he's been fighting on a lesser show.
But I hate to say it, what he did to Dan Hooker, I thought Dan Hooker was going to destroy him.
Dan Hooker lost to himself. He didn't lose to Chandler. He looked like
he didn't put his hands up at all during that fight.
He didn't respect that striking ability whatsoever. He was playing the takedown.
I gotta talk about it.
Okay.
What do you think of Ben Askren right now, taking on that YouTuber?
Well, Ben Askren, I mean, I've gone from hating his guts, like Matt Lindland level
he's not
of hatred.
He's a striker.
No. He's
taking people out.
He played slap fight with Damian Maia for 3 rounds until he got choked out. You know, I think that it's a nice payday.
Yeah, I think I heard he's making $10 million.
More than he ever made in the UFC.
Yeah, that's way more than he's ever made in the UFC.
I'll tell you how many of my dollars he's gonna get for that fight.
Nothing
happening there. But
I'll watch it the next day on YouTube.
Like I think the UFC has some really big money fights, you know, with Nate Diaz, with Conor, but like we need to find a way to integrate those names in the rankings again, in the title picture, because you know most people don't realize this, but the rankings, the way they've been defined is that once you're out of action for a year, they yank you.
Yeah.
You're not even allowed to be considered unless you're fighting at least once a year.
Yep.
Well, Conor McGregor wasn't really doing that. Nate Diaz not doing it. So it's like.
So how are they in the rankings?
They're doing it a little bit differently now. Now it's more soap opera, you know, popularity kind of crap. But
yeah, well, you could say that about Masvidal as well, because he went from like getting stomped all over. They changed up some stuff, got a new camp, and then now he's like the most popular.
I think Diaz needs to get a solid win before we can really hype that fight. McGregor needs. I don't want to say it, but he needs a work. He needs a fight that we have.
He needs like 3 or 4 tune-ups.
That we know he can win. And I've been thinking about it all day. And I think I have the guy that would make an amazing fight and just lose to Conor. If not, get spectacularly knocked out. You want to know who it is?
Who?
Al Iaquinta.
You really think Al's going to go down against McGregor? Al's the only one who's ever put it to Khabib, and actually,
I realize it.
It went the distance.
I realize that. I don't think Iakita has enough to beat McGregor, but I think that it would be enough.
Whoa, I see that completely differently than
you think Iakita can beat McGregor?
Yes, in a heartbeat. He's going to do exactly what Khabib did: put him on the ground and pound his head into the ground. McGregor's not where he used to be. He has too many yes men around him. He's literally boxing journeymen that are no good. I mean, that's about the only thing that I think that Logan Paul kid was right about. Is he's in gyms, real gyms, taking world-class boxers and sparring with them and knocking them down. He's in there with journeymen from Ireland. Nothing wrong with Ireland. I'm Irish, I can say this. They are not the boxers that you can get in Philly. Now, you take on a journeyman in Philadelphia, because I personally know Bernard Hopkins, and I've been in his little training areas. Let me explain something to you. A journeyman in that ring will destroy you, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, either one of you. One of their youngest piece of crap dudes will hand you your ass. Go to a real gym. Same thing with Conor. Go to a real gym and practice boxing. Get in Freddie Roach's gym and try to talk that shit. You're gonna get your ass handed to you. Bottom line.
All right.
I've been in those things. Bernard Hopkins at 54 would whoop your ass. You know what I mean? It's true. They're getting in there with nobodies. I'm saying the same thing about Conor McGregor. He's getting in there with nobody, like journeyman in Ireland.
Right.
And I, you know, they're good, but they're not USA. They're not Mexican caliber people. They're just not.
I'll tell you right now. Out of all the prospective matchups that you can put with Dustin, whether it's Diaz, Khabib, Oliveira, or McGregor, the one that gets me the most excited as an MMA purist is Charles Oliveira. And I'll tell you why, okay? If you love MMA for what it's best at, ridiculous strikes, endurance, durability, that dig down deep to get it, crazy submissions, that matchup has it all. Because just as much as Dustin's a freaking savage on the feet, Oliveira's a savage on the ground. There's not going to be a single area where that fight can go where there's not going to be a madman doing something. I don't expect it to last very long, but while it's lasting, it's going to be ridiculous fireworks, and the technical display that we're going to get, that drives me crazy. Like, I know that against McGregor, you're not going to see that. Against Khabib, you're not going to see that. Against the Diaz, you're not going to see that. And so I would love to see that, and then let's let those other guys, you know, let McGregor. I mean, Gaethje, I think, needs a fight before he's back in that mix because he's just coming off a loss. Ferguson, he's way back because he lost again. So I think, you know, you got your losers, you got your Diaz, your McGregor, Gaethje. They need to scrap a little bit, you know. I think Chandler versus Gaethje, that makes a lot of sense. And then if Chandler gets through Gaethje, now he's got a bona fide credential to say, look, I have a stake. I just beat a title holder in the UFC. Now I need to get my shot, and I would support it because I'm not a fan of the guys crossing over from inferior promotions and being all like, oh, you know, they did it with Brock Lesnar when he came over from WWE, and it was a farce, you know. But we were like, we get it out of your system, Dana. You got to make some money, so go ahead and pour yourself out for a little bit. But that's over.
Yeah, he's running a business. You know?
We don't need to do that anymore. So give him one of those. Let Conor get some actual competition time and to get somebody who's not going to take him to the abyss and have him look down into it. And that's really it. You know, tell us what you think. Put out in the comments. What do you think should be next for Conor? What do you think should be next for Dustin? And do you think Dustin should just be gifted the title right now, as DC seems to think he should be?
I think everyone's saying the same thing. He's earned it. He's beat up everybody.
I'm not going to argue against it. But it does seem weird to have like a retroactive title shot where it was like, oh, by the way, that was a title fight. You know, I get that.
Okay, I'll do that.
I get that it's weird with the whole Khabib like retiring, but Dana doesn't want to strip him yet because he's like desperately trying to get him to come back and break some more records.
Yeah, well, because he's a money man. He's a world-renowned fighter. So
I don't know if you guys know this, but Khabib and Conor sold 2.4 million pay-per-view buys. Okay, the fight from this weekend is projected to be in excess of 1.6. So it's already
Dustin makes
number 2. Oh yeah, Dustin makes the money. Yeah, million for the fight plus his pay-per-view on the backside. Dude's
Good job, buddy.
making his money. Congratulations. Nobody's more deserving than you, man.
Heck yeah. Plus, he's got the good fight.
But check this out.
Yeah,
with this push, now with everybody, I mean, I saw Dustin on ESPN talking to Stephen A. and Max Kellerman today. You know, he's getting the push that he deserves. He's getting that elevation. What do you think, if done right, the trilogy bout with McGregor could do?
I don't know.
3 million, man. I think they could break 3 million.
Oh yeah.
If it's done right.
You gotta get him back up to being what he is.
Which means you gotta have a title holder, which means Dustin needs a belt and McGregor needs momentum. He's gotta have some serious momentum where everybody's gonna be like, dude, we have to see this. You know? And then no matter which way it goes, your arcs for both of them are still fine. They're still able to move because of your timing. You know, I just think Dana sees those big dollar signs and he gets rash.
And I'm saying this as a novice. I'm not a pro. I mean, I know what to look for, but I'm gonna tell you like this: you might want to switch camps, McGregor. If you're not gonna listen to anybody other than this one guy, Kavanaugh, you might lose. I know he got you there one time. It's a different game. It just is. You might have to look somewhere else. But.
That's a good point. It is a different game because the reason why Poirier was able to have so much success was the implementation of that calf kick.
Yeah.
Okay, that calf kick is a more recent addition to the arsenal of mixed martial arts. McGregor didn't know that. They didn't train for that. Okay, so basically...
No, Kavanaugh said they did train for it, he just with pads. So it's a different kind of thing, and you don't know how to properly check it. You're not sparring.
Yeah, but McGregor said he wasn't ready. He said like he had no idea what it would do when he got kicked because he'd never been kicked live like that. It was always with pads on. And so it's like he didn't realize that your technique had to be perfect to check it. Otherwise, you're still going to eat it in your calf muscle. Yeah. So I think what you have is in a lot of ways like Dustin upgraded his game to the current operating system. McGregor was still, an iPhone 9 or whatever. I think that we can't put them fighting again until Conor has shown he's playing in the new meta. He's doing it. He knows all the new tricks, and he's versed.
We know you're great at being a pugilist specialist, but let me explain something to you. You're in mixed martial arts. I understand you could block a takedown, and you could fight it off. But there's more to the game. You got Muay Thai. You got all kinds of different things. It's everything. You're not going to get there if you don't train with people you haven't trained with for as long as you have. Just come on, man. You got to change.
So let's keep the conversation going. Put in the comments. Shoot us a like. Share it. Let's get some debate and figure out, the educated fans. What do they really want to see? Do they want to see just a cash it, or they want to see the division get groomed? So I say keep it spicy.
Hey, what are you smoking on?
I'm smoking a San Cristobal Ovation. What are you smoking?
I'm just a Rocky Patel Edge, this A10. It's not bad. It's really peppery on the back end, and it just has like a 2-layer flavor note. It's like leathery with a hint of oak, and that's about it. But the pepper's there.
Well, I had 2 other cigars today that
I'm sorry.
I have a bit of a problem, and they were very meh. So like one of them I just disregarded. I was like I can't even get through the first third. It was so bad. Then the other one I got through it, but it was not very busy. It didn't really do a whole lot for me. It was more local. This one's clearly the better of the best out of those 3, but it's just. Not a lot of depth to the flavor. It's I would say it's a pretty quality Maduro, but this came in a sampler pack with an Opus X in it, so I was like, I ain't buying it for this.
That's a good cigar.
So maybe one of these days I'll light that bad boy up on the nub and we'll talk about it.
Definitely.
So anyway, keep the conversation going. Keep it smoky.
Always.